out of him. I don't even know that he's listening to anything I'm saying right now.
I'm listening. Go ahead. You're trying to come up with something to annoy the hell out of me. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying to keep
there he is. I think
going,
he's done it, Cece. He just talked.
To keep the bit going. We're like, can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? Can we talk about And every time we're trying to talk about it, it gets pushed back. But
we just can't talk about this topic, though.
I don't know. Can we?
Well,
no, I'm saying Shedeur.
We've been trying to talk about it for weeks.
I know, and I'm trying to find something else.
But why would you want to do that?
Just to annoy you, as a joke.
It's not going to annoy me. I don't understand why we can't get to it.
Adam Schefter was on with us yesterday, every Tuesday, presented by ZipRecruiter, and gave us his assessment, currently based on the reporting, obviously, of the Browns quarterback situation.
My guess would be that they're going to go through the summer, and Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett will sort of be vying for that roster spot. And by the way, I think the winner starts to start the season, and the loser maybe winds up on a team that needs a quarterback, and they wind up trading one of their guys, the veterans. That's how I would view it today. Now, let's see how the summer unfolds. Sometimes there are rookies that come into training camp and light it up, a la Russell Wilson, a la Dak Prescott, a la Bo Nick. You just don't know, and they win the starting job right away. Now, do I think that that's going to happen with Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders? I would think not, but we don't know how it's going to go. But if it goes the way that it's fairly typical, I would think that they'll carry both rookies, and that I would think they'll try to move one of the veterans.
May 21st, leave Watson to the side. I know that a lot of people are saying, hey, he's trying to fight back from the ACL, whatever. He's not going to play for them. We know that. Flacco, Pickett, Sanders, Gabriel. Cece, what is going to be their QB depth chart, or what should be their QB depth chart?
I think they'll move on from Kenny Pickett. He has more value than Joe Flacco does. I think Joe Flacco will be the steady hand that they decide they're going to keep in the room. We know that Joe Flacco is not going to be threatened by any of those other young quarterbacks, and I'm pretty sure that it's early enough in Kenny Pickett's career where he still fancies himself as a guy that should be a starting quarterback in this league. So for the Cleveland Browns, this year is a free roll when it comes to trying to figure out whether or not one of these guys that you took a flyer on in the middle rounds can be your franchise quarterback long term, knowing that you have the additional first-round draft pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars going into 2026, which is a much deeper quarterback draft class. So if Dylan Gabriel and or Shedeur Sanders don't show you enough this year, you're absolutely going to take a quarterback at the top of next year's draft. So I don't understand why you wouldn't give yourself a large enough sample size, give those guys a long enough runway to see what they are or what they aren't.
Would you go with one over the other? If you're going to have a free roll, as you said, and test out both of these guys, obviously based on what you see in camp and in practice is going to inform how you move about that. But let's say they're neck and neck. Let's say that you could make a good argument to go with Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. Knowing the hype and the conversation that's going to be happening around Shedeur, would you go with him first or would you try Dylan Gabriel out?
I'm going with whoever my locker room responds to the most.
Well, you know that answer now, don't you?
It feels like we do with Shedeur Sanders. Just based on how the rookies reacted to him coming off of rookie minicamp, based on what we've been hearing in terms of his interaction with veterans around the building, coaching staff, it feels like people are gravitating towards Shedeur Sanders. Not to mean that Dylan Gabriel can't be a leader, not to say that Dylan Gabriel can't play, but Shedeur Sanders is the leader in the clubhouse because he's comfortable in that environment, because he's been around the NFL all his life. Mm-hmm. His dad is Deion Sanders. So he's going to acclimate a lot quicker than all of those other rookies, including Dylan Gabriel.
You know, there's low-hanging fruit always with the Browns because of how bad they've been for how long they've been. And I think everyone tries to take that. I've done it. We've all probably done it at different times. I think we also need to acknowledge two rookies, one drafted in the 3rd round, one drafted in the 5th round, that both had successful college careers. One is uber famous and accomplished in Shedeur, have both said all positive things about each other so far. There's been nothing like competitive. There's nothing like, oh, well, Shedeur's trying to get this camp and Gabriel's trying to get this. Shedeur's buttering up Myles Garrett while Dylan Gabriel's buttering up Kevin Stefanski. And then now there's none of that. I know it's early, but let's also acknowledge these two guys are in competition and are hanging with each other and promoting each other. Actually, good culture with the Browns.
Yeah, but there ain't no participation trophies, though. Like we can't share first place. Somebody's going to win the starting quarterback job, and I think that both of these guys are going to be in that conversation going into training camp. That's why I think this is the most fascinating camp battle that we're going to see in the preseason. It's going to be the starting quarterback job for the Cleveland Browns. And inevitably, somebody is going to be traded, and there's going to be a surprise in terms of, who ends up being the week one starter. Even if it ends up being Shedeur Sanders, I can't say that I expect it for the Cleveland Browns. It would be a surprise. If it ends up being Dylan Gabriel, it would be a surprise. About the only one that wouldn't be a surprise as the starting quarterback week one would be Joe Flacco, and that's just because they've got proof of concept with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, been there, done that.
But everybody else that's in that quarterback room right now, if they're the week one starter, it would be a surprise. But I'm not too sure that isn't the way that the Cleveland Browns should go.
Smells, you could follow one quarterback battle in the preseason, Indianapolis or Cleveland. Which one do you follow?
Oh, Cleveland, without a doubt.
Even though Indianapolis has a top 5 pick and a top, 6 pick.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones. Cleveland's more interesting.
Because of Shedeur. He's a star.
Coming up, OKC.
Unflagging interest in football has now created a new opportunity for NFL players, Olympic flag football. Today at the league spring meeting in Minnesota, the owners gave their approval for the league's players to take part in the games, starting with the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028. Here's Jeremy Fowler with more on this.
America's game on a world stage. That's how NFL VP Troy Vincent described the league's unanimous vote, allowing players to participate in flag football for the 2028 Olympics. The NFL's pumping excitement with this one. Star wideout Justin Jefferson was on hand for the press conference, calling the chance to play flag football in the Olympics a childhood dream. And the league expects significant player backing. As Vincent put it, players will want their Steph Curry moment. Coming Wednesday, debate fireworks with the tush push, which is alive but on the ropes. Owners are expected to vote in the morning whether to eliminate the ability to push or pull a ball carrier, which the Eagles have mastered. There's some early momentum here, but owners need 24 votes, a 3/4 majority, to pass the proposal. I've talked to several teams that are hoping to get rugby-style football out of the NFL. Playoff reseeding based solely on wins and losses will also be discussed, but the people I've talked to consider that one a long shot, though they do agree reseeding seems inevitable when an 18-game schedule takes effect in future years. From the NFL spring meeting, Jeremy Fowler, ESPN.
Back on SportsCenter, where we are getting our first look at the shiny new toy in Dallas. George Pickens, by way of that trade with the Steelers, wearing his new temporary number at Cowboys OTA. He's gone, he's 14. That's so Pittsburgher go. He's now 13. It plays well with number 88.
We can compliment each other. If he's tired, I can guarantee you I'm not. So just being his backbone and being here for him and letting him know that he got some help on the other side for sure. That's a dog and that's willing to win, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do that.
I think CD said it best. I saw his comments, right, where we don't have a one. We don't do A's and B's. We think that there's a one over there, as CD said it. And if you look over there, there's a one there. So I think that's the way that we view GP.
Look at that guy's tape. You see what he does, the kind of receiver that he is. He's going to win the one-on-ones. He can win 2 versus 1 if he has to. Very, very talented guy. When you can add him alongside of CD and the rest of the weapons that we have, I'm super excited.
Well, over the last 2 seasons, Lamb has nearly 17.
Trang trí đơn giản bằng len nha. Nguyên liệu đây, mình sẽ sử dụng 2 màu sắc len như thế này để làm này. Màu tím và màu xanh sẽ kết hợp lại với nhau nha mọi người. Sử dụng kim móc len và kéo để sẽ cắt những cái phần len thừa này. Rồi bây giờ mình sẽ bắt tay vào làm nhá. Mình sẽ sử dụng cái phần len màu tím này trước nha mọi người. Mình gỡ len ra. Rồi giờ sẽ móc vào đây. Mình sẽ móc một cái hình tròn trước nha mọi người. Đây mình sẽ móc